The ocean covers more than 70% of our planet, but we have explored less than 5% of it. For hundreds of years, sailors have told stories of creatures with glowing eyes and jaws big enough to swallow ships. Maybe they were just myths, but what if cameras have finally caught them? From terrifying sea serpents to strange sharks never seen before, here are 15 sea monsters caught on camera. Number 15. Trident Tail Monster. In Florida, a fisherman named Raymond Cole was enjoying a quiet day near the CM River when something strange caught his eye. Beneath the water, a huge shape was moving slowly but powerfully. Curious, he pulled out his phone and started recording. Moments later, the creature's tail rose above the surface, and that's when Raymond froze. It wasn't just any tail. It was split into 3 sharp points, like a giant trident slicing through the water. He couldn't believe what he was seeing. Was this the legendary trident-tailed sea monster spoken of in local myths? The next day, he showed the footage to other fishermen. Some said it was real proof of something unknown. Others claimed it was just a regular sea creature with an injured tail, maybe cut by a boat propeller. But take a look for yourself. Do you think Raymond captured a mythical creature or something the ocean doesn't want us to understand? Number 14. Moby Dick. Many people still wonder, was Moby Dick real? The famous white whale from the classic novel might sound like fiction, but the truth behind it is far more surprising. The story was inspired by Captain George Pollard, who sailed his ship across the Pacific Ocean in the early 19th century. During one voyage, his vessel was struck by an enormous sperm whale, so strong that it sank the ship. Witnesses described the creature as pale, almost white, a ghostly giant of the sea that vanished after the attack. Later, another massive white whale was spotted off the coast of Chile. Locals called it Mocha Dick, and it became a legend of its own, said to fight off whalers and disappear into the waves unharmed. But the question remains, could whales like that still exist today? In the 21st century, new footage suggests they might. A man out at sea accidentally filmed a huge white whale, its skin bright against the blue water. Marine experts confirmed it was an albino sperm whale, one of the rarest sightings on Earth. The man who captured it said it felt like seeing a dream come alive. Maybe Moby Dick was more than a story. Maybe he was real all along. Number 13. Agapogo. In the calm blue waters of Okanagan Lake in British Columbia, Canada, locals say something enormous lurks beneath the surface. They call it Agapogo, a creature so legendary that it's often compared to Scotland's Loch Ness Monster. The story of Agapogo began centuries ago with the First Nations people who spoke of a powerful spirit of the lake. But over time, the legend grew into one of Canada's most famous mysteries. Witnesses describe Agapogo as a massive snake-like creature with dark, smooth skin and a body longer than a bus. Said to reach nearly 50 feet in length, it's known to glide swiftly through the water, using its powerful tail to move with incredible speed, leaving behind a wake that cuts through the lake like a wave. The first recorded sighting came in 1872 when Susan Allison, one of the earliest settlers in the region, claimed she saw the creature rise from the water. Almost a century later, in 1968, a man named Art Folden filmed a strange shape moving across the lake surface while driving on Highway 97. The footage shows a dark form creating huge ripples in the calm water. And for many, it was proof that the monster was real. Skeptics later said the creature was much closer to the shore than it appeared, suggesting it could have been an otter, a beaver, or even a log drifting with the current. But to this day, new witnesses continue to come forward claiming they've seen something massive moving under those deep waters. So, could Agapogo be just another legend, or proof that Canada's lakes are hiding something ancient and alive? Number 12. The Lagerfeuljot worm, Iceland's hidden serpent. They say the deeper the water, the darker the secrets it hides. And in one frozen lake in Iceland, a secret finally moved. The video begins with nothing but silence, a man recording the still, glassy surface of Lake Lagerfeuljot. For a moment it seems ordinary. Then the surface begins to ripple slowly, unnaturally, as if something massive is turning just beneath the ice. A long dark shape twists and glides through the water, its motion too smooth, too deliberate to be ice. The man gasps, realizing he's capturing something people have spoken of for centuries. Locals call it the Lagerfeuljot worm, a legendary serpent said to live deep beneath the lake. Stories of the creature stretch back to the 14th century, describing a massive snake-like monster with pale ridges along its back. When the video surfaced online, it spread across the world, proof, some said, that Iceland's most mysterious legend was real. Skeptics argued it was nothing more than ice drifting with the current, but others believed that for the first time, the lake had revealed its guardian. Now it's time for today's topic. The dive team had been filming off Port Lincoln, South Australia, when a massive shape surged beside their charter boat. A camera mounted near the stern caught the shark erupting from the water, its scarred gray body rising almost vertically as spray covered the lens. Several deep marks crossed its flank, while a torn black object hung briefly from its jaws before it vanished below. In May 2026, the footage was shared by a local dive operator who said the animal had followed the group through clear water for nearly 20 minutes. The divers believed it was far larger than any great white they had encountered, yet its head shape and unusually battered skin did not match their field guides. Marine scientists were sent the video, but no official identification followed. The clip ended with a final breach beside the boat, leaving the crew shaken and the shark unnamed. Number 11. The white crocodile. In Indonesia, there is a legend whispered across villages and riversides, the legend of the white crocodile. Unlike ordinary crocodiles, this one isn't just an animal. It's said to be a spirit guardian, a being that moves between the world of the living and the world of the unseen. Locals believe that seeing a white crocodile is a powerful omen. Some say it appears before natural disasters, accidents, or even death. Others believe it protects sacred places, appearing only to those who are pure of heart. The stories say that these rare creatures are not born white, but become so through spiritual transformation, a crocodile chosen by ancestral spirits to watch over certain rivers. For that reason, they are deeply respected and feared. While most sightings are tied to legend, a few real white crocodiles have been found in captivity. Because they are so rare, sanctuaries and wildlife centers now keep them under strict protection, safe from hunters who see them as exotic trophies. To this day, no one knows if the legendary spirit crocodile truly exists. But for those who live near Indonesia's rivers, the belief is as real as the water itself. Number 10. The Lusca, the blue hole monster of the Caribbean. Legends say the deepest waters often hide the deadliest secrets. In the Bahamas, that legend has a name, Lusca. The Lusca is said to inhabit the waters around Andros Island in the Bahamas, especially in the stunning blue holes, deep underwater caves found off Caribbean islands. These voids connect to the ocean depths, creating hidden passageways many people never see. Fishermen and local divers report strange happenings, ripples in calm water, sudden whirlpools, and shadows gliding just beneath the surface. Some say they've heard mysterious gurgling sounds from below, as if something enormous is breathing underwater. Sightings portray the Lusca as a nightmarish hybrid, half octopus, half shark. Imagine a massive creature with long tentacles reaching out like sinister arms, and the body of a shark lurking behind, waiting in the dark. In one popular video, divers filmed a sudden stir of water, and then it vanished. The camera shook and the image became an impossible blur. Many believe it was a monster pulling itself across the seafloor, testing its domain. Scientists are skeptical. They suggest the Lusca might be giant cephalopods, large sharks, or even misidentified sea currents playing tricks with light. But the tales persist. In Caribbean folklore, people fear the Lusca as a guardian of the deep, a beast that doesn't welcome intruders. Number 9. Sea serpent. Back in the 19th century, people across the United States and Europe were obsessed with strange creatures of the deep. It was a time when science and legend blended together, when every shadow in the sea could be something the world had never seen before. That was when stories of the American sea serpent first began. Sailors spoke of long, snake-like beasts gliding just beneath the waves of the Atlantic Ocean, creatures so massive that they seemed like living sea dragons. But over time, scientists discovered that many of those so-called sea serpents might actually be something real. The oarfish. A rare and mysterious giant of the ocean, the oarfish can grow up to 18 feet long, making it the longest bony fish in the world. Its silver, ribbon-like body moves in a strange, graceful motion that easily explains how ancient sailors could mistake it for a serpent. In Japanese and Pacific folklore, seeing an oarfish near the surface is seen as a warning of natural disaster, like an earthquake, tsunami, or flood. That belief comes from the fact that oarfish usually live deep below and only appear near shore when they're injured or dying. Despite their size, oarfish are gentle giants. They pose no danger to humans, feeding only on small plankton and crustaceans. Still, the sight of one rising from the deep is enough to send chills down anyone's spine. So the next time you see ripples stretching across a calm ocean, remember, some sea serpent legends were real all along. Number 8. River serpent. In the quiet countryside of Scotland, a man was filming the calm waters of a river when something strange caught his eye. The surface began to ripple slowly at first, then stronger, as if something large was moving just below. The river was known for being peaceful, with no fish big enough to cause such waves. So he kept recording, trying to see what it was. Moments later, a massive shape burst through the water. It was dark, long, and snake-like, its body covered in pale spots that shimmered under the light. For a brief instant, the creature seemed almost frozen in time as it emerged from the river before slipping forward again. The unexpected sight left the cameraman struggling to keep the mysterious figure in frame. As the footage was later shared, viewers immediately began debating what could have produced such an unusual appearance. Some believed it was an undiscovered animal, while others suggested it might have been a known species viewed from an unusual angle. The spotted pattern visible on the body became one of the most discussed details, as many people felt it did not match anything commonly seen in the area. Enthusiasts of cryptid legends quickly connected the sighting to long-standing stories of mysterious creatures inhabiting Scottish waters. Skeptics argued that lighting conditions, water distortion, and movement could easily create misleading impressions. Despite these explanations, many viewers remained fascinated by how large and unusual the shape appeared on camera. The mystery grew because the encounter was so brief, offering just enough detail to spark curiosity without providing clear answers. Like many unexplained sightings, the footage left behind more questions than conclusions. The man's heart raced. It looked eerily similar to the legendary Loch Ness monster. Before he could focus his camera again, the creature slipped back beneath the surface and vanished. It never appeared again, leaving behind only ripples and a chilling mystery. Number 7. Mermaid spotted in the deep, the diver's encounter. They say the ocean hides things we were never meant to see, and for one diver, that truth came alive beneath the waves. The video begins peacefully, a diver filming the colorful life on the ocean floor. Schools of fish move gracefully through the blue as his camera follows their path. Then, out of nowhere, something changes. A shadowy figure appears in the distance, gliding between the corals. The diver steadies his camera, confused. At first, it looks like a trick of light until the figure moves closer. For just a moment, it becomes clear. A humanoid shape with long arms, pale skin, and a tail fin flashing in the light. Before he can react, the creature darts away, disappearing behind the reef with incredible speed. The sudden appearance of the figure transformed an ordinary dive into an experience that would be debated for years afterward. Viewers analyzing the footage frame by frame pointed to the creature's unusual proportions and fluid movements as evidence that it was something extraordinary. Others argued that underwater conditions can easily distort shapes, sizes, and distances, creating convincing illusions. The mystery only deepened because the encounter lasted mere seconds before the figure vanished from sight. Online discussions exploded as people compared screenshots and proposed countless explanations for what had been captured on camera. Some observers focused on the apparent tail fin, while others were convinced the silhouette looked remarkably human. The lack of a clear, extended view ensured that the footage remained an enduring source of speculation and fascination. When the divers surfaced and shared the footage, people around the world were stunned. Some said it was proof of mermaids, the half-human, half-fish beings that sailors have spoken of for centuries. Creatures said to appear beside ships or rest on rocks, singing to those who listened too closely. Skeptics called it a dolphin, a seal, or simply a shadow distorted by water. But those who watched closely swore the shape was unmistakable, the outline of something neither fish nor human. Maybe it was imagination, or maybe for a brief moment, the diver filmed a living legend moving through the deep. Number 6. The sea unicorn. Centuries ago, the English explorer Martin Frobisher and his crew were sailing through the icy waters of the Arctic when they came across something that seemed impossible, a sea unicorn. At the time, unicorns were thought to be magical horse-like creatures that existed only in fairy tales. But what Frobisher and his men saw was real, a strange marine animal with a long spiral horn rising from its head. Often called sea unicorns, narwhals are among the most mysterious creatures of the Arctic. When they returned to England, word of the discovery spread fast. People became obsessed with these so-called sea unicorns, believing their horns held magical powers. Their tusks were carved into cups, wands, and royal treasures, sold at enormous prices as proof that unicorns truly existed. But this fascination came with a price. The creatures were hunted relentlessly, and before long, sightings nearly disappeared. Many thought the sea unicorn had been driven to extinction, nothing more than a legend lost to time. Then, centuries later, explorers and scientists rediscovered them. They learned that the legendary horn was not a horn at all, but an elongated tooth belonging to a real Arctic whale, the narwhal. Even today, narwhals are rarely seen, living deep in the cold waters of Greenland, Canada, and Russia. Their long tusk can grow up to 10 feet, twisting like a spiral blade through the icy seas. So, while the sea unicorn may have started as a myth, it turns out this one was never fiction at all. Number 5. The Ningen. In the freezing waters of the Antarctic, Japanese sailors began reporting something strange. They spoke of a massive pale figure drifting beneath the ice, a shape so large it could easily be mistaken for a submarine. When one crew tried to capture footage, their cameras showed what looked like a human-shaped creature, gliding silently through the dark water. It had smooth white skin, no visible eyes, and long arms that seemed to stretch endlessly. Some even claimed it had 5 fingers just like us. Stories about the mysterious figure quickly spread among sailors and maritime enthusiasts, becoming one of the most enduring legends associated with Antarctic waters. The creature's alleged appearance was unsettling because it seemed to blur the line between something human and something completely unknown. Witnesses described feeling an unusual sense of unease as the pale form moved beneath the ice with apparent ease. The harsh environment of Antarctica, where visibility is often limited and conditions can be deceptive, only added to the mystery. Some observers suggested that unusual ice formations or rarely seen marine animals might explain the reports, while others remained unconvinced. The lack of clear evidence allowed speculation to flourish, with countless interpretations emerging over the years. Artists and storytellers embraced the legend, often depicting the creature as a giant phantom silently patrolling the frozen depths. The idea of an enormous humanoid shape lurking beneath miles of ice captured the imagination of people far beyond the polar regions. Every new alleged sighting seemed to renew interest in the mystery, keeping the story alive despite the absence of definitive proof. Whether the reports were based on misidentification, natural phenomena, or something entirely different, the legend continues to fascinate those drawn to the unknown. The crew was terrified. They said the creature moved slowly, almost curiously, before disappearing into the deep. When the footage was sent for review, it was mysteriously removed from public archives. Those who saw it believe it wasn't a whale, and it definitely wasn't ice. They called it the Ningen, a name that means human in Japanese. To this day, no one knows what it truly was. But if you ever find yourself near Antarctica, be careful what you record. Some things beneath the ice were never meant to be seen. Number 4. Deep-sea giant. In Japan's Suruga Bay, a group of marine biologists made a discovery they'll never forget. Their cameras were set a mile beneath the surface with a baited cage meant to attract small sharks. But instead of a cat shark, something much larger appeared out of the darkness. The cage was over 30 feet wide, yet the creature beside it made it look tiny. Its shadow covered the camera's light, and its movements were slow and powerful, like a living submarine. Even the biggest known shark, the whale shark, grows up to about 61 feet. As the enormous shape drifted closer, the camera operators reportedly struggled to judge its true size against the featureless darkness surrounding it. The creature remained frustratingly indistinct, revealing only portions of its body before disappearing back into the deep. Researchers watching the live feed were left staring at the monitors, trying to make sense of what they had just witnessed. The immense shadow seemed to absorb the available light, making the animal appear even larger and more mysterious. Some observers suggested that unusual camera angles and deep water conditions could have exaggerated the creature's dimensions. Others argued that the scale of the object relative to the cage was difficult to dismiss so easily. The encounter quickly became the subject of intense discussion among marine enthusiasts fascinated by the possibility of unknown giants inhabiting the deep ocean. Deep-sea environments remain among the least explored places on Earth, leaving plenty of room for speculation whenever something unusual appears on camera. Even experienced researchers admit that large animals can be surprisingly difficult to identify when visibility is limited and reference points are scarce. Whatever the object truly was, the footage succeeded in reminding people how little of the ocean's depths has been directly observed. But this one looked even larger. The scientists were stunned. Could this really be a megalodon, the prehistoric predator believed to have vanished 3 million years ago? No one has been able to prove what the footage truly shows. But one thing is clear, something massive still lurks deep beneath Japan's waters. Number 3. China's unidentified deep-sea creature. In 2016, a group of fishermen off the coast of Yuzhong, a city in eastern China, made a discovery that left them speechless. While pulling in their nets, they noticed something strange floating near the shore, a creature unlike anything they had ever seen in all their years at sea. Startled but curious, they recorded the encounter on camera, capturing what many would later call a real-life sea monster. The creature had a long snout like a crocodile, but its smooth gray body looked more like that of a dolphin. It didn't fit the description of any known marine animal. When the footage aired on Chinese television, it quickly went viral, sparking debates among experts and viewers across the country. The unusual appearance of the creature immediately captured public attention because it seemed to combine features from several completely different animals. Viewers replayed the footage repeatedly, searching for details that might reveal its true identity. Some believed the animal had simply been distorted by injury or decomposition, while others argued that its characteristics were too unusual to dismiss so easily. The mystery deepened as different interpretations emerged from people familiar with marine life and those fascinated by unexplained phenomena. News reports and online discussions kept the story alive for months, with countless theories being proposed. The fact that experienced fishermen could not identify the creature added another layer of intrigue to the encounter. Many people pointed to the vast unexplored regions of the ocean as evidence that surprising discoveries may still be waiting beneath the waves. Regardless of its true identity, the strange animal became one of the most talked about marine mysteries in the region. Some marine biologists suggested it might be a rare beaked whale, a deep-sea species that occasionally washes ashore after storms. But others disagreed, pointing out that the creature appeared to have two large eyes on top of its head, unlike any known whale or dolphin. To this day, no one has been able to confirm exactly what it was. Whether it was a mutated sea creature, an unknown species from the deep, or something else entirely remains a mystery. Whatever it was, that day in Luzon reminded everyone of one thing: the ocean still holds secrets we can't yet explain. Number 2. Ice Monster. In October, deep in the freezing waters of the China River in Alaska, something strange was caught on camera. Craig McCarthy, an employee of the Bureau of Land Management, was filming the river when he noticed something moving through the icy current. At first, it looked like a dark shape gliding just beneath the surface. Then he saw it clearly, a long, twisting form covered in what looked like icicles, slowly weaving through the water like a living glacier. Craig grabbed his phone and recorded what became one of Alaska's most talked-about videos. Some viewers claimed it was Nessie, the famous Loch Ness monster, somehow making her way to North America. Others insisted it was a new kind of river creature, one that had never been identified before. As the footage spread online, thousands of people began examining every frame in search of clues about the mysterious object. The cold, remote setting only added to the intrigue, making the scene feel like something from a supernatural thriller. Many viewers were convinced that the movement appeared too deliberate to be explained by a simple piece of debris drifting with the current. Others pointed to the apparent size of the object and argued that it seemed much larger than anything normally seen in the river. Discussion forums quickly filled with theories ranging from undiscovered wildlife to strange natural phenomena. The unclear nature of the footage made it difficult for anyone to reach a definitive conclusion, allowing speculation to grow even further. Similar mysteries have fascinated people for generations because they challenge the boundary between what is known and what might still be hidden. For a brief moment, the icy waters of Alaska became the center of a modern monster legend. In the footage, the creature appears to be nearly 15 feet long, its back shimmering with frozen spikes. Skeptics, however, had a different theory. They believed it was just a rope or fishing line tangled underwater and coated with ice, creating the illusion of movement. Despite several explanations, no one has ever proven what it really was. And until they do, the legend of Alaska's ice monster continues to haunt the cold, silent waters of the China River. Number 1. The Flying Spaghetti Monster. The name Spaghetti Monster might sound funny at first, like something out of a cartoon, but the truth behind it is far more bizarre. In 2015, a team working for an oil and gas company near the coast of Angola sent cameras deep into the ocean, over 1,200 meters below the surface. What they captured that day left everyone stunned. Drifting slowly through the dark blue water was a massive, tangled mass of white tendrils moving like floating noodles. It looked so strange that the crew nicknamed it the Flying Spaghetti Monster. When marine experts examined the footage, they realized it wasn't a monster at all, but something just as fascinating: a siphonophore. This mysterious organism is related to jellyfish and coral, but it isn't just one creature. It's actually a colony made up of thousands of tiny individuals, each working together as one living being. The footage immediately sparked curiosity because the organism looked unlike almost anything most people had ever seen before. Suspended in the darkness of the deep sea, its delicate strands stretched outward in an intricate pattern that seemed almost unreal. Scientists studying deep ocean ecosystems were particularly interested because encounters with such large siphonophores are relatively uncommon. Every section of the colony performs a specialized function, allowing the entire organism to survive and thrive in one of the harshest environments on Earth. Some parts are responsible for feeding, others for reproduction, and still others for defense, creating an extraordinary example of biological cooperation. Observing a siphonophore in its natural habitat offers a rare glimpse into the complexity and diversity of life hidden far below the ocean surface. Discoveries like this continue to remind researchers that the deep sea remains one of the least explored regions of our planet. These creatures can grow to incredible lengths, sometimes stretching longer than a blue whale. They float silently in the deep, glowing softly as they drift through the ocean's hidden world. So the next time you hear Spaghetti Monster, don't think of pasta. Think of the deep-sea phantom that really does exist, silently gliding through the black waters of the Earth's last frontier. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.